So, throughout this morning and in the afternoon, we had ourselves a bunch of people around the Montreal Canadiens bubble talking about what they're hearing and just giving some scoops as to what could be going on with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, at the time of recording this audio, when it comes to Patrik Laine and David Reinbacher, we do not have an exact timeline. The Montreal Canadiens have not gone out there and confirmed anything. However, insiders have been talking, and there's been a lot of conversation, which I think actually does warrant a video, especially if we may have to wait a few days in order to get the Canadiens themselves to verify any sort of timeline. So, without further ado, let's go out there and talk about these updates in chronological order, starting out with what was said by Tony Marinaro earlier this afternoon. He said this in French and in English. Both knee injuries to Laine and Reinbacher are very serious, and both are out very long term. Now, a reply goes out there and asks, why are you speculating? It's hard enough as it is, Tony. Can't we please wait for the official word? And then he replies saying, I'm not speculating. Now, of course, Tony Marinaro is connected to the Montreal Canadiens media world, and he probably does have some insiders in and around the situation, so if it's Tony Marinaro saying Laine and Reinbacher are both out long-term, I don't want to go out there and disagree. Now, when it comes to Marinaro, he also made an appearance on the JIC show. Take a look at this article published on Journal de Montreal, Laine and Reinbacher, good news and bad news. This was from earlier this afternoon as well. Columnist Tony Marinaro had good news and bad news for Habs fans when the daily JIC returned to the air. First, the bad. Patrik Laine's season is in jeopardy. He's going to be out for a long, long time, Marinaro said. As for Reinbacher, however, the news is more encouraging. I'm told that these are two very serious injuries, but in Reinbacher's case, it would be less serious than Patrik Laine's. So if we're taking a look at it, I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. When you think about the magnitude of the hits and the impacts that had happened to both of these guys, Patrik Laine knee-on-knee full-on with Cedric Parekh, that was devastating, and you saw him writhing in pain on the ground afterwards. David Reinbacher, he didn't really get hit too hard. I think he kind of fell on his left knee, and that's ultimately what caused him the most impact. It didn't really seem like the contact with the Leafs player itself was what caused Reinbacher to get his knee injury, but the impact on the ground when he landed, that definitely did not look good. So hearing that Laine could be out for a long, long time, according to Marinaro, and that David Reinbacher probably will be less serious than Laine, injury-wise, it doesn't really surprise anybody. Now, let's go out there and look at some other tweets that were posted. HFTV Sports went out there and posted this. It's a clip from the Sick podcast. Jeff Gorton says that they're going to take all the time they need to consult with different professionals before announcing a timeline on the Laine-Reinbacher injuries. It could take a few days. And you start thinking about it, okay, Jeff Gorton himself is coming out here and saying that it may take a few days. The Canadiens are doing their due diligence. They're not just going out there and getting the first opinion and rolling with it. They want to really make sure, via multiple expert testimonies, that they're actually getting this thing correct. And furthermore, it actually was posted about by Grant McKegg as well. Take a look at this tweet here. I suspect that Laine and Reinbacher's knees are swollen. They may have to wait another day or two before they can perform a proper MRI. So because the injuries occurred on Saturday, a lot of us were thinking, okay, maybe the MRI is going to be done on Sunday and then we'll get the results. But if this is the case here, there are a little bit of delays. This Grant McKegg tweet is from earlier today. So wait another day or two before the MRI. Maybe that's on Tuesday. Maybe that's on Wednesday. Maybe we won't even have the results and we won't learn as the general public from the Canadiens until Thursday or Friday. Who really knows? If Jeff Gorton is saying they're taking testimony from different experts and Grant McKegg is saying the Canadiens guys will have to probably wait a few days before they get the MRIs, who knows? Maybe we won't know the timeline about this until next week. You wait 1 or 2 days to get the MRI, you wait 2 more days to get the MRI results, and then you wait 3, 4, 5 days going around to different doctors asking them, hey, what do you think about this MRI? What do you think about this MRI? And you have to do that for 2 players, not 1, 2. So there's going to be a lot going on here with the Canadiens over the next few days. And if Tony Marinaro's sources are correct saying that Laine will be out for a long, long time, Reinbacher less so, I don't know if that's really all too surprising. Now, on that note, we did have ourselves another tweet posted here by Stu Cowan from earlier this afternoon. I'm hearing that Patrik Laine could be out 4 to 6 months. Nothing confirmed yet by the team. Again, by the time this video is uploaded, maybe there is some sort of a confirmation, who knows. But 4 to 6 months, I don't know if that's really too bad, actually. Think about it. October, November, December, January. If it's 4 months, Patrik Laine's back in the middle to the end of January, and he's good to go. If it's 6 months, he goes on till March, which is around the trade deadline. There is a reasonable amount of time that will exist at the end of the regular season for Patrik Laine to be able to compete and play and perform with the Montreal Canadiens should his estimated timeline of recovery be 4 to 6 months. However, I don't know if that necessarily aligns with what Tony Marinaro said, because Marinaro said long time on the JIC show. What is a long time? Is 4 to 6 months a long time? A lot of Canadiens fans, I think, were expecting Laine to maybe be out for the whole season, which would be, 8 months? Something like that? Furthermore, we also had ourselves a picture of Patrik Laine today watching the Habs practice in crutches, and that obviously set the tone for a lot of Canadiens fans paying attention to the practices, paying attention to the lines, paying attention to the Twitter account, just endlessly refreshing, waiting for the update on Patrik Laine and David Reinbacher. Because obviously this is a terrible disaster situation. So for now, these are the updates on Patrik Laine and David Reinbacher. More stuff is coming out by the minute from different insiders on pieces of news and timelines and whether or not this will take a few extra days here. I feel comfortable making this video and uploading it, letting it breathe a little bit, just because I think it's important to get the updates known. And if we're going to have to wait a few days for the MRI, plus the MRI results, and then consulting different experts, it might be appropriate to actually make this video right now. Furthermore, though, to end things off, I wanted to go over one more conversation that might get a lot of Montreal Canadiens fans mad. Take a look at this. This is the thread on Our Hockey from Homicidal Penguin. Both knee injuries to Laine and Reinbacher are serious. They could be out long term. I wanted to go over one of the comment threads in this video. Haunterloo92 said, "Unreal. I just really hope we get to see Laine play hockey again." And then another reply says, "I'm starting to have the same hope for Reinbacher at this point too, to be honest." A reply says, "Does Reinbacher have an injury history? 3 knee injuries before the age of 20. He might be cooked." This is where we get into some of the disaster scenarios here. 3 knee injuries before the age of 20, he might be cooked. That reminds me, 01001010101110 says, he reminds me a lot of Olli Juolevi, and they were both drafted at 5th overall, ahead of the clear best player available. Please stop it. Another reply says, "That's the Olli Juolevi development program. Just keep getting injured and slower until the hopes of an NHL career are swept away." And I'm thinking about this like, oh man, as a Canucks fan, from 2016 onwards, when Olli Juolevi was drafted, I, like many other Vancouver Canucks faithful, thought that Juolevi was going to be the next best thing. He was, at a time, the best prospect in the Vancouver Canucks system on defense. 5th overall, taken ahead of Matthew Tkachuk, taken ahead of Clayton Keller, taken ahead of Sergachev. He was a really highly touted prospect, but maybe not as highly touted as number 5 in the draft. David Reinbacher, you could say, maybe the same thing. The Habs took David Reinbacher over Mishkov. They took Reinbacher over Ryan Leonard, Dalibor Dvorsky, Zach Benson. They took Reinbacher over all of these guys. And now he's gone through 3 injuries before the age of 20 years old. And this one could be one of the longer-term injuries that he has to recover from. I saw a lot of people kind of asking around, hey, when Reinbacher got injured against the Maple Leafs, is this the same knee that he got cooked from the last injury? And apparently it's not. I'm not 100% sure on that, so if anybody wants to go out there and do some history lessons, hey, can you let us know which knees were the knees that David Reinbacher sustained injuries to? Because from this injury that he got, it looks like this Leafs thing happened on the left knee. But, you know, I guess we have to wait for the verdict here. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this Patrik Laine and David Reinbacher update. Could Reinbacher have some sort of a similar career trajectory to Olli Juolevi? And do you think Patrik Laine being out for 3, 4, 5, 6 months is the likely outcome here? Are these reports, like from Stu Cowan, misleading? Do you think he'll be out longer? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. and bye.